Hey everyone, welcome back to BMX News. This is a weekly BMX news show where I talk about everything that happened in the previous week within the world of BMX that I think you guys might care about. That being said, we've got a lot of events to talk about and a lot of things are postponed or canceled. So the first one is huge. XGames Shanghai is completely canceled. Clearly, Shanghai is in China. It just makes sense. And I'm not going to say the name of this thing because YouTube is demonetizing every single video on the entire platform that talks about this thing, but we all know what it is. So I'm just going to read the statement from X Games right now. It says, due to ongoing blank concerns, the X Games Shanghai 2020 event, May 30th through 31st, has been canceled. The safety of our athletes, staff, and spectators is our top priority, and we will continue to closely monitor the situation for all X Games events. So no idea if there's going to be a reschedule or if it's going to happen somewhere else. We don't have any information. That's literally all I have. So hopefully we hear more soon. Hopefully they reschedule it and just do it somewhere else because X Games is a giant event. And it also says at the bottom on Vital BMX where I found this that Big Air and BMX Street are the events that traditionally go down at this event. So I'm curious to hear from you guys. Are you going to miss this? I know I'm going to miss watching this. So I really want to hear your guys' thoughts on this and if you're going to miss it as well. And then another event to talk about is FISE Hiroshima. This one is postponed and there's a whole bunch here written, so I'm going to go through that right now. It says FISE Hiroshima 2020 will not be taking place as initially planned. Here's the official word. After careful consideration and a thorough review of the blank situation, we have decided to reschedule FISE World Series Hiroshima. It was supposed to take place the 3rd through the 5th of April and feature World Cup and World Championship competitions. In consultation with the international federations involved, it will now take place at a later date to be announced. Our primary concern is always the safety and well-being of the athletes, fans, and partners who are involved in our events, and given the situation as it is today, we feel postponement of the event is the best option. So FISE Hiroshima, postponed. Let me know your thoughts on that one as well. Then we've got another one that's postponed, and that is Hyper Jam 2020. This was supposed to be going down at Asylum Park, I think over in the UK, and it just says that it's postponed. It doesn't have any information, it's just a flyer. What you see here is what you get, and I really didn't know anything about this event anyways, so let me know your thoughts on this one as well. And then we need to talk about Swampfest. There's no news on it right now. It hasn't been postponed or canceled yet, but I feel like we're at a point where Trey Jones needs to put something out. Is the event still going on? Is it postponed? Is it canceled? I know they're already working on stuff for the event, and last I heard from somebody who rode dirt bikes at the exact place just the other day, they're still working on it, and he's seen some of the stuff. I don't have any idea what's going on. I feel like we need to know what's going on because people are trying to travel from literally across the entire country and world. And the fact that there's already a 30-day travel halt from the US to Europe or the Europe to the US going on right now, I feel like there's some sort of statement that needs to be made about Swampfest. And Trey Jones is in a position where if he still has it, he's forcing people to make the decision whether they take advantage of these really cheap plane tickets and put everyone at risk or not go. And it's kind of a crappy position to put people in, but Trey's also in an extremely crappy position in itself that he's not like these giant organizations that can just shut down like they have recently. He's just one dude working with a whole bunch of companies and people to put this event on for everyone. And if he postpones it or cancels it, it could have some pretty big consequences in both money and just the whole situation in general. So it kind of sucks and we got to look at both sides in it. So this is another one. I want to hear you guys' thoughts on this one. It's going to be literally thousands of people in a giant group together from all over the world. That's exactly what you're supposed to avoid right now because just think about how this thing works. You don't know that you have it when you're contagious. So there's a giant group of thousands of people where there could be a couple people who just have absolutely no idea that they're carrying and contagious. All it takes is just a couple people there out of the thousands. And with all of that being said, if Trey Jones does cancel or postpone this event, do not flood him with hate because it's reasonable, understandable, and smart if that happens. And just because you have the self-entitlement of I need to go to Swampfest and you should have it no matter what risk it could be on all of the people affected who go and then come in contact with the people who were there and then everyone that they could come in contact with after the fact when they come home just is something to think about. So if it doesn't happen, don't flood them with hate. And if it does happen, think about what you're doing, be sensible, responsible, and smart. So now with all of that out of the way, I want to highlight something else that was pretty awesome that came out in this past week. It was a video from the first street BMX contest ever Two Hip Meet the Streets in 1988. And let me just read the rider list for this so you guys can get psyched to click and watch it. Got Dave Volker, Chris Muller, Pete Augustin, R.L. Osborne, Eddie Roman, Craig Campbell, Ron Wilkerson, Vic Murphy, Rich Bartlett, Dave Vanderspeck, Scott Town, and more. There's so much really awesome stuff in this video, and it was really cool to see some of the big stuff that these guys were doing in 1988 on the bikes that they were doing them in. And it was honestly hilarious to me whenever Rich Bartlett first showed up, because it was so obvious who he was because he was so much bigger than everyone else in the video. It was also just really cool to see a video from this event that I've heard so many people talk about, but not really talk in depth about it, the kind of things that were happening and the tricks that people were doing. It kind of just validated the way that I've heard everyone talk about this thing and how great everyone says that it was. And the tricks that were in there that really got me excited was the wall ride 540 that someone did. Then somebody did out of a kicker a foot plant over an entire car sideways. Then somebody jumped the entire car sideways to flat. Then somebody did a 180 drop down to another platform to fakie hop off of what looked like it could have been a 3 or 4 foot high platform and then rolled out of it on flat. I thought it was really awesome to see that, because that's the kind of stuff today that people are doing and kind of the stuff that I've been trying to do ever since I got a free coaster. So yeah, if you guys are young and you haven't heard of this event at all, you need to watch this. And for you older guys out there, I think you probably already clicked off of this video to go and watch it because you haven't seen this stuff in so long. And then we could talk about one of the pieces of sponsorship news from this week. The other one comes later in the video. This is Stu Chisolm joining the BSD Worldwide crew, and it's a quick video. It shows him building up his bike and then doing a massive tail whip drop. This is a rail hop tail whip down a 7 flat 6. Just imagine that and then go watch it. I don't need to talk about it anymore because this video is only 1 minute and 16 seconds long, so I don't want to talk about it longer than it is. But there is something else with Stu in here, and that is that he was announced to be a Battle of Hastings team captain. So I put that in there right under his video from BSD. And all in all, it's been a good week for this dude. So let's move on to the videos from this week. And the first one that I want to talk about is probably one of the first times that I've ever included the actual video from it. It's Ryan Guzman's double Flair tuck no-hander. And I figured I'd just real quick talk about this at the beginning here since I can show it for you guys to see. And then I want to talk about a video from someone who has been killing it for absolutely ever, but kind of just hasn't got his time of day, and I want to give him some time of day. Chris Furmage just came out with a video that is amazing. It's called Level 3 Dreamin', and the last clip from this one, just to get you guys excited to watch it, is a roof drop into a pool. Just think about how crazy that is. There's a giant abubica in here as well, and just some nice technical stuff in there. This is just a really, really feel good all around video. The beat to it is really nice. It goes with the riding, and it's only 1 minute and 56 seconds long, where the riding actually ends at 1 minute in, and then it shows the last clip again. So just check this one out from a dude who definitely deserves some shine time. After that comes a video from Kink called A Day of BMX in ATX. This one mostly features Dan Collar and Casey Starling, and I think after watching this video that the majority of the clips in some way are lip tricks. Whether it's from the first minute of the video where they're literally riding a concrete mini ramp, to the spot where they had a slide to a sub rail, to the end where they had a ditch spot with a sub in it. Most of the tricks in here are lip tricks, and I personally thought it was awesome to see someone like Dan Collar, who's just known for being such a beast at riding street and doing big, gnarly stuff, doing something like an inside Vader jam on a quarter pipe lip. Just really cool to see some variation in there. Obviously, they rode some street spots too that weren't just lip tricks, so I definitely recommend checking this one out. And Daryl Taco, as always, did a great job putting it together, and he did have himself a clip in there as well. And then to throw the entire range of variation into this one, we've got Woods Wednesday with Clint Reynolds from S&M, and I think that this is number 1 of a series that's going on because it says Woods Wednesday 1. Doesn't just have trails riding in it, it's also got some variety of its own in there. They ride a backyard ramp, they ride a bowl, they ride Clint's bowl, they ride a concrete skate park, and of course they ride trails. So it literally completely rounds out this week for videos other than vert and flatland. Oh, and also the very first clip before the riding in this video is a porcupine getting out of Clint's bowl, I'm assuming, and using a board to let it climb out, and I just thought it was kind of cute, honestly. And then after that, there's a couple videos that I thought were worth mentioning, but I didn't want to talk in depth about. The first of those is from Golden Days Bike Co. That's Nate Richter's bike shop out in Long Beach, California, and it's a video called Fight the Sleep featuring the team riders for the shop. Then there's one from Matt Perkins called Grind the Mind. You guys might know him as Matt P Street G on Instagram. Then after that, we've got a video called Barna Mids. This one features Mark Burnett, Bjarki, Hardarson, and more. And then we've got the Fast and Loose opening act. If you guys didn't know, Fast and Loose has been working on a DVD for like 3 years or something like that now, and they're done with it. It's coming out. It's supposed to premiere at Swampfest, I think, and they put the opening act on YouTube for everyone to see and get hyped for the full-length video. After that, we've got some products to talk about, the first of which is the Kink BMX Brace Cranks. So let me pull this up. It's a 3-piece crank, as usual, 22 millimeters. It looks like it comes with the bottom bracket. The bolts for it, instead of using an Allen wrench, actually use what looks like a 3/8 socket driver, and you can get them in 160, 165, 170, and 175 millimeter lengths. You also have the option to buy just the cranks or buy the bottom bracket with it. Moving on from there, we also have another Kink product to talk about. This is the Overgrown Stealth Seat from Kink. Not much to say about this one other than the fact that it looks like this and uses Kink's stealth system to attach to the seat post. And then we can move into the interview section with something that is kind of product, kind of interview. This is Mike Laird interview over on Vital BMX. They're talking about his frame number 500 that he's gotten to, and just an interview with him in general, talking about Laird Frame as a company. And in addition to this, everyone also has the opportunity to win frame number 500 from Mike Laird. And the instructions for that are supposed to be listed at the bottom of this article, but they're just kind of not there. So go over to Mike Laird's Instagram page to find the details for how to enter. And then we've got a video literally called Get in the Van, featuring Trevor Antillon. It's from Volume, because Trevor is the newest addition to the Volume team. This has a whole bunch of interview questions that Trevor answers, and I think this is a really awesome way to introduce someone as a member of a team, to let everyone out there get to know them with questions, and kind of a lot more than we just get from the typical welcome to whatever company video that's probably filmed really fast so they can get it out there and get the news out there as soon as possible. I like this approach. I like this video, and there's also some riding at the end, so you can get to know the guy himself with some questions, and then his riding as well at the end. So check that one out in the description below if you guys want to. I also forgot to mention that everything that I talk about today is in the description below in links in the order that I've talked about and will talk about it. After that, we've got a video with Anthony Perrin called The One That Got Away. This is a very interesting concept because it's a video about a trick in a clip that didn't end up getting to happen. So Anthony's in there talking about the trick, and he didn't end up getting it. So it's kind of a cool way to use some content and footage, as much as I hate the word content, to use some footage where they never ever would have released it otherwise, unless there was some other crazy like crash or something, some other reason to, and make something out of it where you get to hear from the rider. Anthony Perrin's someone that we don't get to hear from like on a regular basis in a video where he's actually like talking, but it is kind of a little strange to make a video with a trick that never ended up getting landed. But it's some insight into things, and it's a reality of being a BMX rider in general, and I think it's something that we can relate to. So with that being said, that's it for this week. Let me know what you guys thought. Let me know your thoughts on the big giant thing I talked about at the beginning, and hopefully we can see you tomorrow for another one, because you're going to hit the subscribe button down below if you're new or you haven't yet. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.